Hello everyone, how are we all doing? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to my channel and to another festive video. I'm very excited about this one because I'm going to be making our Christmas wreath in this video, and also I'm going to be making a lovely festive cocktail to enjoy while we make the wreath. So lots of festive stuff going on. I am truly so excited about this, so much so that I've gone and popped a mince pie out, so I'm going to be having a mince pie in this video too. It is mid to late November when I'm filming this, so it's kind of technically the Christmas period for me anyway, because I have to get ahead. So I've made wreaths on this channel before and they haven't always gone to plan. However, I think I've had some practice now and I've got the art of wreath making down to some form of fine art. However, don't hold me to that. I also want to say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, which is Kindred. So for those of you who don't know what Kindred is a fantastic way to earn cash back this festive season. Now I know cashback sites are very popular and there are a few out there. However, what makes Kindred different and why I'm super excited to be working with them is that they are really trying to push their charity partnership, and they are actually putting a goal in place to be the world's biggest charity contributor, which I just think is absolutely fantastic. So obviously we are in the festive season. You can download the Kindred app and also have the keyboard extension, which is I did. It's really easy to add into your keyboard on your smartphone or tablet, and basically every time that you shop you should check on the app to see if they have a partnership with the shop. So all of today's suppliers are actually from Wilko. So I shop through Kindred and will earn cashback from the purchases, which is fantastic. The magic goes on behind the scenes and the cashback comes to you, and then you have the funds to donate to a chosen charity of your choice. So the charity that I have chosen is Ealing Church's Night Shelter, which is quite close to us. We're southwest London, obviously Ealing's West London, and they are a really fantastic charity aiming to help those on the street this Christmas time. So it's great if you are making purchases that you can have the cashback come to you, but also make a charity donation at the same time. So I will link Kindred down below. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. You can find out more about that and how to sign up and create your own profile. So I'm going to quickly make a cocktail before we get into the wreath making. Now this is such a simple cocktail. It requires 3 ingredients. I'm going to be using some sparkling wine. This is the Leckford Estate Brut. This was very kindly sent from Waitrose. So I'm going to be doing a little champagne sparkling brut and then making it extra festive with some Chambord, which I absolutely love. And I've just got a little champagne coupe here with 2 frozen berries, 1 frozen raspberry and 1 frozen blackberry. So it's as simple as adding the ingredients into a glass and enjoying it. So let's start by opening the wine. Nothing says Christmas more than some bubbles. That's a sound we like to hear. So I'm just going to add the brut to the glass with the berries. Keep that on the side because we can top that up. And then I'm just going to add a splash of Chambord for colour and also taste. Chambord is a raspberry liqueur, so it's absolutely delicious. And then top it up with a little bit more of the brut, and that is your winterberry spritz. It's absolutely delicious. Cheers. Oh, that is delightful. Some may say it may be foolish to have a glass of sparkling wine before you make a wreath. However, I think, why not? It's Christmas. So as I said, everything is from Wilko. I will leave it all linked down below. I'm starting off with a wreath base. This is just lots of wooden, kind of like twine, just mixed together. And then I picked up these pine cones. They have hangers on them, but what I'm going to do is just trim those off at the seam. There we are. So I can actually attach those with some wire. Lovely. Also from Wilko, I picked up these 2 packs of cinnamon sticks, and they're already pre-tied, which I thought was very handy. So I'm going to attach those to the wreath. I grabbed some floristry wire and some tartan ribbon last weekend, and I'm going to go through foliage in just a moment. But finally from Wilko, I picked up these frosted winter berries. So I think it's going to be a really natural wreath that we're going to go for. So for the foliage, of course you can do artificial foliage if you prefer. I do like real foliage. So we have a large vase here full of foliage, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough. And I've kept it in water, primarily just to try and keep it alive. It's a really good idea. Anything fresh and new, before you bring it into a home, obviously with heating and whatnot, you really should make a fresh cut at the base of your root and then pop it in water, and that just keeps it really nice and fresh. Don't leave it in water for too long because the roots can actually rot. However, it's a good idea and it just means it'll last longer and stop dying and wilting as the festive season goes on. So in terms of foliage, I have some spruce. This is just Christmas tree clippings. I will leave the proper names linked down below. They've left my mind because I'm not the best with names. However, I know that this is from Italy. So we have some eucalyptus and also some Italian spruce too. So once you have your wreath, you can use a metal one or a wood one like I have here. What I'm gonna do is get the floristry wire and start off actually attaching it to the base of the wreath. And one thing I did learn last year is that with floristry wire, you're never supposed to cut it until you're actually done with your wreath. So it just means it's really nice and secure. So all I'm doing is just wrapping it around the base of the wreath, and this will just continue to support the foliage that we add to the wreath. So I've done about 4 wraps there, and I've just got the end here. So I'm gonna set that aside. And you can make wreaths a whole host of different ways. However, having done some research myself, I'm actually gonna be attaching the wreath in stages. Also would be worth pointing out, a good sharp pair of scissors, ideally floristry scissors, would be a good idea. So we're going for a green toned wreath, so I'm gonna take a piece of the spruce. This is slightly larger than the actual wreath base. So what I'm gonna do is just attach it and then see how we get on. We can trim it if necessary. Using the scissors, I'm just gonna trim off the base of the spruce. And then what I think is nice is layering the textures on top of each other. So I've got some eucalyptus here. This is a small eucalyptus. So I'm just gonna trim that with a little bit of root left. So I'm just gonna layer that on top of the spruce like that. And then using some of this foliage, let's just trim off the excess there. That's good. We can just remove the stalk bits from that. And then we can layer that on top. So you're effectively creating like a 3 sprig of foliage. Like so, if that makes sense. So once you've popped all of the roots to the base, now what you can do is grab your floristry wire in one hand, wreath in the other, and then just start placing it onto your wreath. Now, of course you can do these bundles in sections and then add it all last minute, but I'm gonna add it as I go just because I feel like I'll have more control that way. So grab your wreath, lay it on, and then just start wrapping your floristry wire around your wreath, keeping it nice and taut and tight because that'll mean that your foliage won't go anywhere. It's quite tricky, so if you have a second pair of hands, by all means get them involved. You just really want to make sure that it's nice and tight on the wreath. Like so. So that's your first piece attached. And then what we're going to do is work in a clockwise direction around the wreath. So we should have, by the end of this, a beautiful spiral of foliage. So that's perfect. So just keeping that attached, pop that to the side while you grab more foliage and just repeat. In the meantime, I'm going to have a sip of this lovely cocktail. So I've attached, I think 4 lots of bundles so far, and I thought I'd give you a progress update. So as I said, when we started from think of the wreath as a clock face, we've started at 12 and we're working along. So we're at 1, 2, I'd say we're around 3 o'clock now. But as you can see, it's starting to take shape. So we've got that spiral effect going on. Of course, if you're not into the whole like really extra spiral thing, you could just stop there and leave it as that. But I really want to pack this out, you know, folks. So I'm going to continue doing that, and then of course we can work with the embellishments afterwards. We've got the pine cones and the berries and the cinnamon sticks. I don't know if anyone else gets like this, but I'm getting quite emotional making this. Like, Maggie's just sat off camera and snoozing. I've got the Christmas music on. I just love Christmas. God, honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think because last year, why am I getting emotional? I think because last year was just so difficult, and especially this time last year in the UK or wherever you are in the world, and it's still a very difficult time. I just think it's such a lovely time of year that is Christmas, and now that we are able to see our family and friends and just share the magic that is Christmas. I need to stop. Why am I getting emotional? God, I didn't expect this. We're gonna roll with it. Guys, if you're feeling emotional this Christmas, just roll with it. Might have something to do with this. Okay, so this is the progress we have made. I am so happy with how this is coming along. We've got the spiral, which is obviously what we're after. However, when you are making a wreath, it's good to stand up and place it away from you so you can kind of get a perspective of where the gaps are. So as you can see, there's quite a big gap here, and there's quite a big gap here too. So with all the foliage that you've kind of trimmed and the excess pieces that weren't so big for the base, you can use as gap fillers, which is brilliant because you're using all of your foliage up, no waste, and you can really make it look luxurious. So keeping with the theme, building in the spiral, I'm just going to keep on adding to it until I've used all this up, and then we can continue with the decoration of the pine cones and cinnamon sticks. I am really pleased with how this has turned out, and as I've said, if you can see on the table I have lots of different offcuts. So what I'm going to do is use those just to fill out the gaps, just to really bulk it out, and then it's time to finish it off. Okay, so the base of the wreath is done. Now we're going to move on to the embellishments. So I've picked up some of these cinnamon sticks from Wilko. I think these were £1, which is brilliant. Oh, they just literally smell like Christmas, and they're fab as well because they're already pre-tied, so that's brilliant. However, what we're going to do is just take off the twine and the wire and attach our own just so we can put it on the wreath. So with your floristry wire, I always take more than I need, so I probably am going to go for, let's have a look, let's do that much. I'd say that's just shy of a meter. So that's your floristry wire. Sorry if it's tricky to show on camera. So because these cinnamon sticks already have the wire on them, what I'm going to do is just loop my floristry wire. My eyesight is deteriorating annually. And then I'm going to just attach a pine cone to the cinnamon stick as well. So it's going to be a cinnamon stick pine cone duo, wrapping it around the base of the pine cone. Basically, you effectively want this to be a decoration as one. So that's perfect. So then what we can now do is pop that on the wreath. So I'm going to do all of the pine cones that I have and then pop them on the wreath. So I'll bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see what we're doing. So these are the little pine cone and cinnamon stick parcels that we've just done. So I'm just going to affix those in the wreath, and what I'm going to do is just try and slot them under where we've just popped everything, just so they don't stick out as such. So there we are, that's perfect. So we're going to do the base of the pine cone down, and then at the back of the wreath, obviously I'm not going to be able to show you this, but I'm just going to twist it until it's secured. So the wreath is very nearly done. I am so happy with it. The last thing to do, if you do have a wreath hanger, obviously would be to just pop that on the door. However, I'm going to do ribbon just for that extra traditional finish. And this is a tartan ribbon. Let me use my scissors. So I thought this would be really nice and traditional to finish off the wreath, and it's a lovely thick tartan material, so I'm not going to need a lot. Just going to trim that on an angle. Perfect. So the way I usually do it is fold the ribbon in half. Now this has actually got some wire in it too, so it's going to be very easy to mold and shape. Of course you can finish it off with a bow if that's your kind of vibe too. So I'm going to fix where I think the ribbon should go, and then we're going to pop it on the door. Personally, I think because I've only done 4 of the berries, where the 5th red should be, I should probably hang it from that spot at the top. So with the ribbon, I've folded it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again widthways, and then I'm just going to loop it through the wreath. So we're just going to go underneath the wreath, like so, pass it through, and then take the tail ends of the ribbon and pass it through the loop here. So just push those through. And then what I tend to do is just pop it under the foliage just so it doesn't, you know, protrude out. But again, that's personal preference. If you like to actually see the ribbon, then by all means keep it above. Just being very careful just to pull the ribbon nice and gently until it's secured around the wreath, like so. And then we can fix it to the door. So let's hang this up. So that's it guys, that is my finished wreath. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I am so happy with how this has turned out. I feel like I've really pushed myself. It took a couple of hours, so good to do. He's just sat next to me. Good to do with your friends, family, or just a task if you want to just lose yourself in wreath making for a couple of hours, maybe on a weekend. But I really hope you've enjoyed it. Do subscribe if you haven't already, because there will be lots of Christmas content coming your way very soon. I am super excited for the festive season, in case you can't tell. But thank you so much for watching. Love to you all. Take care. Merry pre-Christmas, and I'll catch you all very soon in a future video. Bye for now.